everybody, and welcome to issue 19 of Geek Pop Podcast. With me, as always, is Josh.
I'm Josh, and that guy over there is Toby that never says his name.
Yay! Throw back to last
Hey!
week. Josh, this week's been pretty slow for me because I don't have a job at the moment.
This week, you've been living my dream, really. and you know what? I'm upset with you for not appreciating it any more than you have been.
This has pretty much been my past 3 days. It's been wake up, play Borderlands for a couple hours, maybe wander out of the house for an hour to do something, come back home, sit around for a while, and then start a fire in the fire pit out back, and then just sit outside the rest of the night.
That's literally all I want in life. You've described everything that I want. I mean, there's really not anything else that I want or need in my life. I just want no responsibilities, I want no place to be, and I just want to be able to play video games as long as I want, and then go out of the house whenever I want. That's all I want.
And you know, that sounds like a good dream, Josh.
You're living the dream for a week, Toby.
Josh, in spite of the fact that I've done absolutely nothing the past couple of days, I have all sorts of stories for you.
Great. You're a real story machine. Take that as you will.
Josh, have you ever wanted to feel like a badass before?
No, never. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with feeling like a badass. Like, actually being a badass. I don't want that.
I found out the best way to do it, at least from my experience last night, is just walk around Walmart's parking lot in the dark with a baseball bat.
Why? Wait. All right. I will grant you that's probably pretty effective. But can we talk about how you got to that point? Let's Tarantino this shit. Let's go backwards and find out how we ended up here.
Okay, so a long time ago, I bought a baseball bat to go with my Halloween costume.
I
now,
love that you're man enough here. You don't even own a baseball bat. Like. You had to go purchase a baseball bat for a Halloween costume.
Yeah, because I was gonna spray paint it red and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So there's plastic wrap on it, and then I figured I could just wash off the paint off the plastic wrap and return it to Walmart.
Oh dear Lord!
Because I'm not gonna buy a baseball bat for no reason.
I mean, you should. Baseball bats are useful.
I guess so, but it's $15, and that $15 goes a long way.
It does. $15, you can buy like 2 wiffle ball bats. See, I'm turning one bat into 2 bats for the same amount of money. That's
like a circular economy.
Infinite bats. That's what this leads to.
And I can turn the 2 wiffle ball bats into 4 rubber toy bats.
Yeah. Eventually we get down to those little like Louisville Slugger bats they pass out when you tour the museum that are like a foot long. Yep.
But so I was strolling through the parking lot with my T-ball bat. I really feel like a badass.
No, you didn't. All right, still, there's some question marks. So you bought it.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So I bought it, and then Halloween was over.
So this is the return
trip? I was bored.
Trip?
Yeah, so I was bored, and I was like, this needs to go back now because I have nothing else to do right now. And I'm fucking bored as shit, and I'm falling asleep 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm going to Walmart.
I feel like the conversation for I need to return this baseball bat is probably an odd one. Or at least, I know there's not any conversation and they just do it and whatever, but that clerk is thinking what the hell is going on? Who buys a baseball bat and then changes their mind? That's not a purchase that people balk on later.
Who bought this? Who buys this in the beginning of October, returns it a couple days after Halloween?
Yeah. Well, I got home and I already had this one, so...
I did what I had to do with it. It's coming back now.
That's like returning a gun. Turns out, the situation resolved itself. You slide it across the counter.
And all I did was I walked in and she looked at me and I was like, I want to return this bat. It's too small. I just put it on the counter.
You should give her a reason. It's too small for my needs.
It wasn't even for my needs. It was just, it's too small. I was gonna say I bought it for my son. it's a little too small for him. But I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna tell her the bare minimum and see where this goes. And she was just so not in the mood for any bullshit that she was just like, and just scanned it. It was just like $15. You're going back on your card. Have a nice night.
Those people aren't paid enough to give any craps about your bullshit stories when you're returning things. I've never once been told this is not gonna work. Are you serious? Never once. And unless it's they have a strict policy against it. We can't return an opened video game or things like that,
The only time that I've ever had issue with the return was the one time I tried to return shit to Best Buy. And this was years after I worked at Circuit City and knew how the scam was ran when you return shit. And I've never seen a customer service worker so frustrated with somebody before that, or at least, I've seen them frustrated because I've been frustrated. But I put her so hard in her place that she didn't know what to do with herself.
Whoa, okay, go on.
All right. So, a long time ago, in the yesteryear, like 6 years ago, I bought a brand new camera. It was an Olympus Tough camera, the ones you can like throw around, drop in water, shit like that.
Yep.
So I bought it, got it home. It was for vacation, and I was all excited. So I get home with it. I'm opening the box, and it was missing the SD to XD card adapter.
Okay.
So I was pissed, and I was like, I can't use this. Like, there's no adapter. It's supposed to come with an adapter. How am I supposed to take pictures? So I call Best Buy immediately, and I was like, hey, I just bought this camera. You know, it's missing this piece. What can I do with it? And the girl goes, oh, if you want to bring it back in, I'll leave a note here, and it won't be that big of a deal. And I said, well, I'm not coming back out tonight. Can I come back tomorrow? She says, sure. And I say, what do I need to bring to have this taken care of? And she goes, just the receipt is fine. I said, fine, great, thank you. So the next day, I go back with my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, yeah, I bought this camera yesterday. It was missing the SD card adapter. I just want to come back and get a different one if I can. So I gave the girl the receipt, and she goes, well, where's the camera? And I said, I was told not to bring the camera back. I was told just to bring the receipt. I said, can you just go see if you have the SD card adapter thing? So she's like, yeah, we'll send someone back. So someone walks around. I'm going to assume did nothing because that's what I would have done. They eventually come back, and they were like, we can't find the adapter. And I said, okay, well, can't we just, like, swap it out, like, open a different box and, take the adapter out? And the girl's like, well, we don't have any more in stock here. And I said, okay, well, what else can we do? And she goes, well, there's nothing we can do. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I said, do you guys have a display model? And she goes, yes. And I said, okay, well, since when I return the camera to you with missing the pieces tomorrow, since it's just going to get marked as open box anyway, how about you take the adapter from the display model and hand that to me instead, because I know how you're going to like work out this defective product. And she just looks at me with the dirtiest look on her face, and she was like, I guess we can do that. So I got my...
Nice.
I got all my... And like that's the way we always did it, whereas if you brought something back that was quote-unquote unwanted but was electronic, it was just marked as open box. So at that point, it was worthless to the store anyway.
Well, they still sell it, right? At a discount.
Yeah, so I mean, they were going to lose money on it no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. So
but
might as well.
So I was saving them like 20 steps and just like marking a piece as missing from their display one versus the customer that was supposed to be happy. So the girl looks really pissed off that I called her on how to fucking do her job.
Well, she's just mad that you thought like 4 steps ahead of her. She hadn't gotten there yet.
But no, I don't think she was going to do it. Like, you wouldn't know those specific steps were going to go down unless you worked there. Like at Best Buy or Circuit City when it was open.
Yeah.
So we go through all those steps, and then she did the same thing I would have did. She gets that one final jab in where it's not really an insult, but I know it is. She goes, yeah, those adapters are pretty small. You probably lost it, but yeah, we'll give you this one instead. Have a nice day.
That's a shot. That's a shot across the bow right there.
Yeah, so I just gave her a dirty look, and I was like, yep, I guess so. Thanks, have a nice day, and we left.
Maybe I shoved it up your ass.
But yeah, like that was pretty much her last-ditch effort of, I can't beat this guy right now. He has me fucking...
He's bested me.
He's bested me. How can I get him before he leaves? I'll make a smart-ass bitch comment to him.
I'm going to twist the knife as best I can as I'm falling.
Yeah. But it did her no good.
None at all, man. I was gonna blame this on you. If you had walked away, so if you hadn't won at the end of that story, I was gonna say all of the fault was on you because Toby, you were in the system. You should have known to bring that damn camera back with you. That's where I thought this was going. But I double checked. That's why I verified. I had all the information that was needed. Sure, yeah, and you turned out to be the hero in this, but
yeah.
I thought I was gonna get to jump on your case, and I didn't. Toby, speaking of returning things, one time I gamed the system at GameStop, and then instantly felt terrible about it because of the reaction. I was completely in the right. I was doing everything completely by the book. It just turns out that the employers were very unhappy with the book, and I got caught in the middle.
Nice.
So I don't know if you remember, but when Fallout 3 first came out on the Xbox, they put out the expansion packs on disc.
They did. I recall. I worked there, Josh.
Yeah, you would have been around that time. So yeah, they put out the silly expansion packs on disc, and they sold those used at GameStop. And
yes.
There's no code associated with that. It's literally just the expansions on a disc. You put it in the system, and they install. So I bought it used, took it home, realized that you just install them, and then you never need the disc again. So I took it back to GameStop, thinking, "Sweet, I'll trade this sucker in." Right? Come to find out,
that's already your first mistake. Your wording, but go on.
What? Trade it in?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I walked in and I said, because I didn't even realize how this worked at first. I walked in thinking like, oh, awesome, like I'm gonna get a bunch of money back, then trade it in. And I said like, hey, I want to trade this game in. And he like scans it and he's like, asked me when I bought it. I was like, 2 days ago. I was like, oh, well, there's like I think it's like 10 days. Is that right? Or a week or something. There's like a window of time where you can bring a used product back in at GameStop and just like return it, like get your full money's worth.
Okay, you did this right then, yes. That's what I was waiting for. I wanted to make sure that's where it was going.
I didn't even mean really to do that, but he goes, and I'm like, I just want to trade it in, man. Like, and then he calls his manager over, and he's like telling her, he's like, we shouldn't be selling those things used. People can just install them and return.
See, that's the fucked up part, though, because I don't see why... I mean, I know why he would take the hard stance on it, but there's no reason to take that hard stance on it. Like, what the fuck does he really care?
Who cares?
If you do that?
Like, you're getting paid like a minimum wage by this shitty company. Like, just move on, man.
Josh, I was a fucking manager there making $11 an hour.
Yeah.
Like, no one should give a fuck about
exactly.
this.
You should sit there and like smoke weed and just open the doors and let people steal. Like, that's really is how that day should work. But man, he took a hard stance. He was aiming for the top of that corporation. So like the manager was like, "We'll just take it back and like, you know, we'll keep it off the shelf from now on." So I ruined it for everyone else and I got my full amount of money back. But like I felt really bad, like I took advantage, but I just wanted to trade the game in, man.
That's what you have to do, though. Like, what we used to do was, if someone was notorious for doing the shit you just said, where we, like, because eventually you recognize the same people always come in.
Of course, yeah.
Once they got recognized as, I see this is 7 days again and you're bringing this game back, eventually we would just say, like, the system says you can't return this game anymore. We have to just have Lead trade it in instead.
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. I even, after this guy blew up so much about it, because like I think I paid like $20 for the expansion thing, so I knew like the trade-in was going to be like 15 or something. It wasn't a big deal. I was like, can't we just trade it in? Like I was trying to offer, like, don't do a full return for me. Like I was trying to like make him feel better. It didn't work, but maybe that shouldn't be the policy then. The whole like come return it if you don't like the game thing.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, the used factor of it should have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Like if they're gonna say if you don't like a game, you can bring it back, or you can't bring it back, it should be based off absolutely nothing.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But
especially because when you open the new cases and re-put the games back in, I'm not buying a new game anyway, and you're gonna say I can't return this later?
Yeah, that's always
that's
the
every
argument.
customer ever.
Yeah.
That's every fucking customer ever.
All right. While we're on the GameStop stories, let me continue down the GameStop train, Toby.
To be honest with you, we could probably do a whole episode talking about GameStop.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to do this right now or not.
Well, this is more a story about me and my like idiosyncrasies than GameStop. Really, I will save my actual GameStop stories for our GameStop episode, our very special,
which is apparently coming soon.
Yeah. But no, like I like collect video games, right? So the thing I hate is when I pick up a game and like maybe there's like 3 copies of it on the shelf. I grab one of them and like, oh, there's like a ding on the case, so I'll like switch it out. I'll pick the best looking case out of like those 3, right? Like this one is in pristine shape, doesn't have any scuffs, anything like that. Then I take it up to the counter and he goes in the tray, pulls out a completely different one and swaps out my case. I was like, no, I wanted that case. Like I picked that one out. I hate that.
This seems made up unless you're buying used ones.
Well, no, I think what it was I was buying a used game. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See?
But
makes sense.
I picked
Josh,
out the
this
case
all
that I
checks
picked out. One time, Toby, I had the guy, I picked out a case that was actually the official case. He threw that down and pulled out one that was like their stupid gray case that's... And I didn't realize that happened. I walked outside, looked in my bag, and realized that's not the fucking game I bought. I pulled it out and realized, so I stormed back in the store. I'm like, I want that case. And he just gave me like the shittiest like look and like threw it at me. It was great.
If you were nicer to people, you could get away with so much more at that place.
I mean,
as long as they don't care. Because, Josh, I'll be honest with you, there's probably 1,000 just green or white or whatever system they're buying the cases in the back of that store.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So if you were a nice person and were just like, hey, could I have like a brand new just plain case for this with like the paper fold thing? You probably would have been fine.
I mean, I was fine that way. I got what I paid for.
All right, I'm just saying.
He needed to know he did the wrong thing there. I swatted his nose with the newspaper, and then I walked out.
So, Josh, continue with all my random stories or shit that's happened the past couple days.
Yes.
This next one's entitled Starbucks, because I went to Starbucks for coffee this morning while I haven't been working.
You really need to come up with better, like, catchier names for your stories. Like, you just name it about the thing that it is. Like,
I'm just going to say the first 3 words of the story and call it the title.
yeah. I mean, I feel like your story should be like a day on the brew or something. Like, come up with something more interesting. This story's called Starbucks.
Josh, did you ever save a Word document but you never actually title it and just grabs the first couple words of the document?
Yeah.
That's the way I write stories.
Yeah, I think so. I went to Star, and then the Bucks got cut off.
Doc X. This is a short one. But today I went for a coffee, and they have some sort of special brew called Thanksgiving Feast coffee.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll have a Thanksgiving Feast coffee, because I usually hate Starbucks, but I had a free coupon.
I'll have a Thanksgiving feast!
And this kid's eyes light up like I said it was Christmas. And he goes, "Oh man, this shit's so good." No, you didn't say shit, but I cursed.
Motherfucker, this shit
Starbucks.
is dope!
I apologize, Starbucks kid. He was like, "Man, this is so good." He's like, "You know how I came up with the name?" And he was raring to go, and it was 8 o'clock for me. And I was like, "No," I was like, "Tell me, go for it, man."
Bring it.
He's like, "So what we did was they had 15 different coffee samplings all laid out, and they voted it down to the top 3. And once they had the top 3, you know what they did to pick the best one?" And like he was fired up and ready to go.
I like that he thinks you're like on the edge of your seat. Do you know what they did? Do you, Toby?
I was kind of fired up. I was kind of ready for this. But he was like, "So you know what they did afterwards?" And I was like, "Let's hear it, man." And he's like, "They actually had a Thanksgiving feast, and they had all 3 coffees with it, and they picked the best coffee that went with the Thanksgiving food, and that's why it's called Thanksgiving Feast."
That is a guy who should get instantly promoted at Starbucks. Like did he think you were like a secret shopper or something? Like this dude's from corporate. I'm gonna really talk this crap up.
I don't know, but he was so pumped to tell me this story. That's actually a pretty good story, other than the fact that I can't picture actually drinking coffee with Thanksgiving food.
I mean, well, first of all, that makes you weird. That doesn't make Starbucks weird, because coffee with Thanksgiving food seems kind of normal to me. But
that makes you weird, motherfucker.
No.
Thanksgiving drinks is either beer, wine, or water.
No.
Or my mom always drinks milk, because my mom likes milk.
All right, your mom's weird. Can we agree that your mother is weird? Let's come to a middle ground here, Toby. Let's form a consensus. On this front, on the beverage during Thanksgiving, your mother is the weird one here.
My mother drinks milk with everything. We have pasta, and she drinks milk.
I mean, that seems okay.
What the fuck is the difference? How are you gonna come down? My mom shouldn't drink milk with like turkey.
Toby, I'll come down to your mom
can't drink milk with
anytime
pasta.
I want. In fact, she calls me for that once in a while, just because. But so what was your response after he finishes his story and I'm sure looked at you with his big puppy dog eyes, waiting?
I mean, all I really said was, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool, man." Like, I at least attempted to match his upbeatness
Sweet.
at 8 o'clock in the morning when I didn't have my coffee yet. He was fucking on his 3rd cup, apparently.
I think he had mainlined some Coke or something. Like
he might have. He fucking snored that Thanksgiving blend right up the nose.
I call this heroin. Thanksgiving feast. Do you know?
I call this illegal level 3. Wait, what are they called? Oh, stage 3.
Sure, coffee. It's called coffee.
No, what the fuck are the drugs called?
I don't know.
Stage 3?
I
don't know, Josh. There's like different stages of drugs. No. I was going to say I call it a stage 3 blend. Because I think level 3 or stage 3 drugs are the ones that are like super illegal.
Oh. You should probably know less about things when you make jokes about them. I think that works really well for the show.
I really trailed off there. I'm really upset with myself right now.
You really boned that whole thing up.
But yeah, so this dude was fucking stoked about his coffee. And I was happy to drink it. Even though it still kind of tasted like shit because it was Starbucks.
Alright, dude, what? Starbucks is good.
I don't like Starbucks. Nah,
you get the wrong thing.
You
get Hollywood. Not Hollywood. I don't know where Hollywood came out of.
You should know less about things before you talk about them.
You should know more about them. You should get the right thing at Starbucks. You should get the fancy beverages, not regular coffee.
No, see, you say fancy beverages, and what that means is Josh puts his fucking pinky in the air and goes, "I want a mocha frappuccino."
Well, a frappuccino is like the least fancy thing. That's like...
It's the fucking girly, I wear Uggs, blended drinks. Let me put my dog in my purse when we go down to Starbucks.
That's fair. Listen, I will let you come down
White
hard.
girl Josh problems.
I will let you come down hard on me being a basic bitch. That's fine. But
let me get my plastic BPA-free Nalgene bottle so I can drink some water to wash down my mocha double frappuccino light venti latte.
If I'm wrong, I don't want to be right. Because the frappuccino is delicious. So screw you and take a gander at my North Face jacket. You son of a bitch. I'll just sit over here in my juicy pants.
My butt says juicy because it's delicious. Josh, speaking of delicious, I went to Burger King for lunch on my last day at work last week.
Those things are not related, by the way. Delicious and Burger King. Never been said before.
Fuck you, it's awesome. But I got the 10-piece chicken nuggets for $1.50 because it's an awesome deal, like pretty good for lunch.
Burger King's paying you now again.
I'm the most corporate motherfucker in the world.
You are.
I want kickbacks
Burger King.
so fucking hard from someplace for how good I am at corporate stuff.
You do it for free. That's your problem, man.
I'm gonna have to start hoarding myself out more.
If you're good at something, don't do it for free.
Damn. But I ordered the chicken nuggets, and she's like, what kind of sauce do you want? And I said I wanted zesty sauce because it's the best.
Is that a real
it's
thing?
Like, yeah, it's like spicy ranch, kind of.
It just seems like you're shitting her, man. Like, I want that
so
zesty sauce.
It's probably like buffalo sauce mixed with like ranch mixed with something else. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry, we're out until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Almost like I should come back tomorrow for the sauce instead.
If you could just hold on to these, I'll sell them to you now, but just swing back around for the sauce.
Yeah, but like, what kind of fucking sales pitch? Like, if I'm driving through noon Friday afternoon, why the fuck would I care if the zesty sauce is back Saturday?
So you're upset that she gave you more information?
Yeah, what do you need a timeline for? Oh, you're right, ma'am. I'll come back for lunch tomorrow instead. I'm gonna drive through now. Thank you. Have a nice day.
It might sway your decision if she just says no, we're out, and you wanted the same meal the next day, which is not out of the question. You might think I'm not going back there. They're out of the zesty sauce. But if you knew they got more this morning, you'd go back.
What if I got in too soon and they're like, oh, our shipment doesn't come in until noon. You came in at 11.
I'll fucking wait.
I will sit here for a fucking hour till that goddamn UPS comes in, and then we'll do it.
You owe me zesty sauce.
It's almost the equivalent. Like I went back. I mean, I guess this is the last I get to tell this story. I went back to the doctor today for my last round of shots, and I had a TB test, and there's a certain timeline you have to go to have it checked. So my timeline was between 2:20 p.m. today and 2:20 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
I got there. The lady comes out for me at 2:10. I show her my arm for the test, and she goes, "Oh, you're early." Like fucking 20 minutes over the past 3 days is gonna make a big deal.
Am I, man?
Well, then I just would have sat there. Like I don't.
You don't know what their fucking margins are. You don't know how much play they build into that.
Like realistically, I guess not. But my thought process was, unless you want to sit here and stare at my arm for the next 5 minutes and see if fucking like hideous boils start coming out of it, I'm pretty sure I'm clear of TB. Especially because the first test came up clear.
I mean, I get your point, but you understand there literally is a moment where your arm is clear, and then the next moment it's not. Like that has to exist in order for an arm to ever show symptoms of TB.
Okay, but if they're
theoretically, Toby, there has to be a moment where it's not there and then it is there.
Okay, you're theoretically, yes,
Thank you.
You're correct. I'll give you that one. But when the time frame for being checked is 48 to 72 hours, and I'm there at 47:55 on the clock, I don't think it's changing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm with you. You've got the spirit of the law down, and I'm telling you about the letter.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah. You know how last Friday was Halloween?
What?
And we put out probably the best goddamn podcast episode ever.
Yeah, like, I don't want to brag, but I want to brag real quick. That was a damn good episode.
Episode 18 is a banger of a vocal podcast.
If you want to tell your friends how good our show is, just tie them down and play episode 18.
Yeah. So that Friday, the day after.
You're riding high.
I was riding high. I was ready for trick-or-treating. I went to a friend's house, we put masks on, and we waited for the kids, Josh.
That sounds... Whoa. Hold on. we put masks on and we waited for the kids is maybe the most inadvertently dark thing you've ever said.
That's bullshit, and you know it. But so I met my friend at his house for trick or treating because he has kids, and apparently the entire family plus extended family all met up there. So there was like 30 kids in the posse running around, and like 20 adults and all sorts of shit.
Wow.
So towards the end of the night, you know, everyone came back. Everyone was like, the night's over. Nothing's really happening right now. There's only like 3 kids that came trick or treating to the house in the first place. So this kid comes up with his dad at like 8:00, which is pretty much in the trick or treat time. No one really came, and they were like, "Oh, we got a late start. His bag's pretty empty." Blah 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 blah. So I was at my friend's house with this giant bowl of candy, and I was like, "Take whatever you want, buddy." And I just sat there and like started handing him like huge handfuls of candy.
Nice.
He managed to find an unopened bag of Snickers that snuck its way into the thing. He just takes the whole bag of Snickers out and throws it into his bag.
Man, he saw an opportunity and he took it.
I started laughing. I was like, "That's awesome." I was like, "Go for it." And everyone else started fucking yelling at me.
What?
Because they were like, "Oh, you gave him a whole fucking bag of candy?" And I was like, "Dude, it's 8:00 at night and no one came. Like, what the fuck?" And then all the girls that were there started taking my side and, "Oh, no, you know, he made the kids' night. Don't even worry about it." And I was like, "Here's fucking $5 if you want it." So I threw $5 at my friend. And they're like, "I don't want your money. It's fine. Don't worry about it." And they calmed down. But I went hard, Josh. You know, like, if no one's there, like, the candy's just going to sit there.
Yeah, well,
and
I mean, they might
it.
eat it, which is what I did. I knew full well I wouldn't have any trick-or-treaters, and I still bought $15 worth of candy. But, like...
Well, I was debating too, but, like, if I'm going to give you money back to make you whole for my quote-unquote mistake that wasn't a mistake...
Make you whole.
Who the fuck cares then?
By the way, that is a gambling addict's terminology, by the way. Make you whole. But anyway... the whole premise of Halloween and trick-or-treating and the reason they bought the candy in the first place is to make kids happy. And there's like, you made that kid too happy. Take it back.
You showed him that the world wasn't a shitty place. How fucking dare you?
Those $2 worth of candy was ours.
Yeah, or like, even if it was 10, like, I wouldn't just... Basically, my solution was, I'm going to throw money at this problem until it goes away. but then the problem went away. And then like my friend was like, "No, I don't want your money." And I was like, "Okay, I'm taking it back then." So I just grabbed my $5 back off the bar top. And then his someone else was like, "Look at you fucking grabbing money right away." I said, "It's my goddamn money. Like, if no one's gonna take it and you're gonna say, 'Here's your money back,' I'm surely gonna grab it off the bar before someone just steals it from me."
Well, that does make a lot of sense. You're right. You're making a lot of good points here.
I feel like I'm on point today, Josh.
It was your money.
This week off has sharpened my brain to the most degree.
Yeah, you think so? You think not being at work has made your senses better? Your decision making is more on point?
I'm firing on all cylinders because I'm not so fucking burnt out from my soul-sucking job. I think I'm just like...
I like that work lowers your cylinders that you fire on. Like when you should be firing on all cylinders. I mean, that's not true. No one ever does that. No one ever goes to work and actually does a good job, right? I'm convinced that's true.
I think when you first start working at any job, you think, I'm going to make a difference here. And eventually you say, this is the baseline of employment for this place. Yeah. I'm coasting right about here.
I don't think anyone ever thinks I'm going to make a difference. I think people show up and think, I'm going to make other people think I'm going to make a difference. Like, I'm going to carry this notebook around and take notes. I'm never going to read them again, but other people are going to see it. And then eventually you stop all that crap.
That's how I used to go to meetings. I would take a notebook with me and usually write like 2 words down tops because the meeting has never really involved me. I was more just there for comic relief, I feel like.
Yeah, that's really why you're anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's your role.
I might not be the best employee, but I'm sure as shit going to be the funniest.
Someone's got to be. So, Toby, I saw an interaction this week that still doesn't make any sense to me. I was in a gas station, and it doesn't make any sense to me because of the gall of these people.
Nice.
I was in a gas station. These people were buying like a 6-pack of beer, like Budweiser or something. Okay.
Our gas stations don't sell that, so you're already better than us. Continue.
Okay. Well, you're in the wrong part of the country. But anyway, they were buying. I guess they were talking about some like fishing trip or something. Like they were going on some trip. It was like a husband and wife, older people. And the guy had like a 6-pack of beer. He puts it up on the counter, okay? And the guy behind the counter, the guy who owns the store, he's like Indian. And the husband and wife start arguing, and they say, like, oh, we can get that at the grocery store. It'll be cheaper at the grocery store. And they're doing it, first of all, right in front of the cashier, which is weird enough. Like, I feel like you shouldn't talk about someone's products being cheaper elsewhere right in front of him as it's on the counter, right?
Unless you're going to do the retail haggle, like, unless it was like, hey, I'm at Walmart, and it's going to be cheaper at Best Buy, or vice versa, where they actually give a shit about it. I don't think going to a fucking, like, mom and pop gas station convenience store, they're going to be like, oh, my $5 beef jerky's too expensive. Let me just mark it down to $3 for you. Yeah. They're going to say, you go fuck yourself. Either buy it or get the fuck out.
Exactly. And also, at that point, I felt like it was too late. It was on the counter, and he was ringing their other products up. Like, you've made your decision. Like, you need to lie on the bed that you just made with that expensive Budweiser. But no, so they go through this conversation of like, oh, it's cheaper at the gas or at the grocery store. Like, oh, you think it is? And then the husband does this thing. I still can't believe it happened. He looks dead at the cashier, the owner of the store, and he goes, do you think this is cheaper at the gas station or at the grocery store?
I would have said no. I would just stare at the motherfucker and been like, nope, this is the cheapest it is here.
Well, the guy did the best. Like, he pulled it off. Like, one, my mouth was hanging open. Like, did that just happen? Did he really just ask her that? And the guy's just like, sir, I can only tell you about my products. I don't know what they have. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I like how... Why are you making fun of people with accents when you have the accent?
I have an accent?
I don't know, but if they live by... Like, presumably, if they live in the same area that you live, you would all talk the same.
I don't think I have an accent, first of all.
You can't say in!
Well, but I don't have a hillbilly accent like that.
I guess, but I don't know.
Okay,
That seems weird.
I'm sorry.
That seems like a weird clash of cultures for me.
Here, let me explain to you. Let me really peel back the curtain here and explain to you why I did it. Because I felt like it was too insensitive to do an Indian accent, but I wanted to still do an accent.
I wanted to be as unoffensive as possible in the story, and I didn't want to be like, "Thank you, come again."
Yeah, I felt like
I went redneck instead.
Yeah, I felt like if I made fun of my people, it was okay. But like I really don't want to go too hard against an Indian. Like, that's a hate crime. But like if I make fun of a redneck, that's fair game, right?
Makes sense. It checks out.
Sure. So those people ended up buying their expensive beer.
Overpriced.
Yeah.
Do you remember how much it was for the 6-pack?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention for the actual product.
God damn it! I want to know how much more expensive beer is over there than is here.
over there in that far off land.
It's fucking far enough. You live in a world where there's alcohol everywhere. I live in a world where I have to go to the fucking beer store.
You have beer stores, like package stores? We have a concept of a package store here.
We have state stores that only sell hard liquor and wine and shit.
This is messed up, by the way.
And then we have beer distributors that only sell beer, really.
So the state store is actually like owned and operated by the state, right?
I believe so. I believe that's where it came from. It might not be anymore. I'm going to assume that's where that came from.
That's really weird that like your state is getting you messed up on alcohol. Like that's a little strange, right?
And they're not just like giving it to me.
I know, but like
it's not like you go to the state store and like, here's your rations of wine for the week, and then you fucking pound it down or something.
Here's your bread, here's your milk, and here's your hard liquor.
That'd be amazing. I would go to that store.
How many food coupons do you have to turn in for the giant bottle of Sky vodka?
Look at you fucking knowing fancy vodkas. Josh, you can get a fucking handle of like Bankers Club or Vladimir's for like $5, and that's a lot of alcohol.
That is a lot. Here, I need to fess up. The only reason I know what Sky Vodka is because there's a rap song where Childish Gambino says, "So fly, I'm in the sky like vodka."
Is that right?
And then someone had to explain to me that Sky was a brand of vodka.
With 2 eyes, Josh.
2 eyes, yep.
Josh, there's so many rap songs that have like alcohol references to them.
It's really the only way I learned anything about alcohol.
Like Poppin' Chris?
Poppin', that's a thing?
Cristal?
Cristal, right?
Cristal, yes.
Oh, you know what? That song makes sense now all of a sudden.
There you go.
I had no idea.
Josh, stacks on deck, Patron on ice.
I knew that
You can pop bottles all night. You can have whatever you like.
I listened to some T-Pain today. Just a random aside.
Was he on a boat?
He wasn't on a boat. He was sitting in an office, and he didn't have his autotune on, and he sounded fantastic.
The small room session or small desk session, whatever it's called?
Concert, yeah.
Yes. If I mean, I don't know how many people I don't know the crossover for rap fans and this podcast.
Rap fans,
but
this podcast, and NPR.
Yeah, if there's some sort of weird three-man hybrid that likes all those things, look for T-Pain's acoustic session, because the dude can fucking sing.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely just uses autotune just to have his own sound, but motherfucker can sing.
He can sing great. The only really funny thing is, like take his really, like, drinking-focused, banging broads, focused lyrics, and put them in a very pretty-sounding, like, R&B song, and they're super creepy all of a sudden.
One of his top songs is Falling in Love with a Stripper.
Yeah, it is.
And when you hear him sing that acoustically, it'll melt your goddamn heart.
Yeah, like, you'll fall in love with a stripper, you'll marry a stripper, you'll settle down with a stripper.
Josh, a lap dance is so much better when the stripper's crying.
I can't confirm that.
That's a song.
Okay.
Josh, are you ready for the ultimate in weird culture mashups that Geek Pop was founded on, Josh?
Yes, I am ready. My body is ready.
During football on Sunday. You know what football's on Sunday, right?
Football, I'm assuming it's on more days than just Sunday.
It is, but that's the established football day.
I have heard of Monday Night Football before.
You have. Because I'm proud of you. Because you play fantasy football. But anyway.
Can I do a quick fantasy football update since you mentioned fantasy football?
Sure.
I, as you guys know, have been playing fantasy football. Except that I forgot that I was playing fantasy football for like 3 weeks. And then I downloaded the app again and checked in. I'd won the last 2 games. Just putting that out there.
You're a real piece of shit.
Fantasy football literally takes 0 interaction to win. Go on. Football story.
I was once threatened of being shot when I didn't participate in fantasy football properly. I want you to know the difference in cultures from your fucked up state and my fucked up state.
You guys roll way too hard about way too much stuff, man.
I thought I was really gonna get shot. We still tell this story 2 years later. He was joking with you. Bull fucking shit, Josh. I know this dude. He fucking rolls with some hard people. I don't think he was fucking around. If I mentioned it to him, just fucking with you, buddy. Bullshit.
He was gonna shoot you because you weren't. Isn't it better for him if you weren't playing? If you weren't participating?
No, because if I fuck up and someone else wins, that affects the rest of the division, so it affects him indirectly.
This guy needs to just go and I don't know. Go
jerk off and calm down.
I was trying to come up with something jerking off related. Like, go have a prostitute just jerk you off in the corner and, like, just let some of that stress out, man. Just get it all out. You know what I'm saying?
Double entendre. But as we were watching football, and I saw a commercial for the new Warcraft expansion.
Great.
The commercial looks like the goddamn movie trailer. Like, that's how good the graphics are for this commercial.
Yeah, and then the commercial says, level to 90 instantly.
Yes, it doesn't say instantly. It says you reached level 90.
I thought it said level to 90 instantly, which didn't make any sense. Okay.
But that was the whole point of what I wanted to talk about with
90,
this.
90, yeah.
What fucking culture are we in now where they can put you can reach level 90 on a goddamn commercial in goddamn World of Warcraft text during football, and they get sales off of that? That is the weirdest combinations of cultures ever.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense when I saw that commercial, like, in the middle of, like, Monday Night Raw. Like, I was on board with that. Like, yep, that's a good crossover. But yeah, football, I don't know. Maybe they're both just so mainstream now that...
I mean, obviously that's what it is, but it just seems so weird to be like watching football and then like, you reached level 90!
Ding!
Like, that's
How cool is it that, like, I don't know, like everyone always talks about, like, nerd culture and, like, like, it's cool to be a nerd now and stuff, and a lot of that has backfired, and I kind of hate most nerds now, but it's kind of neat that, like, a video game can be a primetime commercial, and, like, there are tons of them. Like, just last night, I saw, like, 4 or 5 Sunset Overdrive commercials. Like, can you imagine when we were kids playing our NESs? Can you imagine having seen, like, a Super Mario commercial on TV? That would have been awesome.
They had them. They were always weird and fucked up, though. Like, the game commercials back then were never really like, let's show you the game. It was just weird shit where, like, the kids' hairs were blasting back from playing the game so intensely, and then Super Mario Brothers, blah, blah, blah.
But it was always, like, weren't those always, like, system commercials, like, by the Super Nintendo?
Maybe. I mean, there's a goddamn movie just for Mario 3. If we're really gonna...
Oh, yeah, I guess there is. All right, fine. I'll take it back.
But I mean, like, I saw this football season, I'm pretty sure I've seen more Warcraft commercials than goddamn Madden 15 commercials. Like, there's more Warcraft mixed with football than football mixed with football for fucking video games.
I wonder if they just think they've already got those Madden folks sewed up, and so, like, advertising is just wasting money. So then, like, they're trying to reach out to the Warcraft audience.
I guess it has to be.
Also, advertising a Warcraft expansion at this point, like, they're like, what, like 5 deep? 5 or 6?
I think so, because I think it stopped at 50. And then it's been 60, 70, 80, 90 as the level caps go up for every expansion.
So like 5 expansions deep. At this point, you know about it if you need to know about it. Like, they're not going to sway me into freaking World of Warcraft at this point. Like, I'm a lost cause for them. So maybe just market to your fans. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just, with the nerd, like you're saying about the nerd thing is cool now. I enjoy the fact that, in theory, the person I am is acceptable to the world now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't like the fact that I wasn't a teenager when this was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I wish I would have been, like, that kid, like, that now, versus, like, hitting it at 31, I guess.
That's fair, yeah. I mean, I sort of got the tail end of it. I got, like, as it was changing, as everyone was feeling good about it, which is cool. Like, I remember going to see the first Spider-Man movie, like, when that first came out, and, like the X-Men movie had come out before that, and like feeling this like weird sea change of like, whoa, this thing I'm into, like everyone thinks is cool now. When like before it was like I was the weird comic book kid, and like that's Josh, he likes Spider-Man, like that sort of a thing. And then like suddenly it's like he's making millions of dollars in this big movie, and everyone loves it. Like I remember thinking like this is different now, like everything's changed. So I got the tail end of it on that feeling.
That's good enough.
Yeah, it was good.
But I'm glad it's more accepting, because I guess the culture as a whole of the world's kind of fucked up with like all the bad school stuff. But if everyone's more accepting of each other, it's actually a positive thing.
It really is, yeah.
This is my happy life moment for this week. It's actually kind of cool that kids can grow up and just be who they want to be, more so than they used to be allowed to.
Yeah, it's super cool. And like, yeah, like the world is definitely more accepting now. Like I had a moment this past week where like an older person was talking, and they like referenced nerd in a derogatory fashion, like, oh, it's cool to work here because you don't have to work with a bunch of nerds. And I'm like, what? Really? Like, I just literally have not heard nerd as a bad term for like years at this point. Like, it felt weird. So it is cool that like people are so accepting of like all different types of people, which, you know, they definitely weren't when we were like really young.
Yeah.
So go society.
2014. Josh, every week we have the audience. That's the listening audience of the Geek Pop podcast.
I'm glad you were specific there, because there are lots of audiences.
There's tons of audiences, but one only pertains directly to me, and that's the one I'm talking to right now.
Yes.
If you like what Josh and I do, and you're listening to this podcast, and you're like, I want them to talk about me, you can write in at cast@geek-pop.com, and you can talk about the episode you just heard, or ask us questions for life advice, whatever the fuck you want to do, really.
And if you don't like what we do, but you're still listening, suck it, because we got you.
Yeah. Suck it, bitch! But you could be like Joseph, who wrote in and said, I stumbled on your podcast some time ago, and I really enjoy it. You guys are really high energy and funny, and episode 18 almost killed me. I was laughing so much.
We told you.
Keep up the good work. I know. We did. He fucking knew. This is first-hand experience, before we even fucking knew about it, that we're locking it down.
Joseph's putting you on blast. 18 was funny.
Yeah. Keep up the good work, but if I'm killed by you, you will be the first suspects. Thanks. And he would have rated us on iTunes, but he listens to us on Stitcher. So shout out to Stitcher, where you can find us, Geek Pop Podcast.
I feel like Joseph wrote that down, and now you and I are gonna have like some really confusing things to explain if he ever does die. With like, hey, we went through his email, and like he said, like, you guys were responsible for his death. What can you tell us about that, Toby and Josh? Like,
couldn't that be the greatest promotion for this podcast ever, though?
We literally killed a person.
Trial of the century. You and I on the stand, Your Honor. I swore under oath. I'm just a funny motherfucker. I'm sorry he laughed, but you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Joseph, parents, I'm sorry. I am funny.
If we ever are on the stand and they say, please state your name, I want you to be like, what's up, everybody? It's Geek Pop.
I haven't said my name for so long, Your Honor. I don't know what it is anymore.
I believe...
All I say is, What's up, everybody? It's Issue Whatever. This is Geek Pop, and that's Josh. I know his name. I don't know my name.
I believe that gentleman is Josh.
Objection! But along with listening to us on Stitcher, you can also listen to us on iTunes, where you can subscribe and rate us and write nice reviews. And Josh, there's a couple reviews on there from the last week.
Great.
Josh, we're up to 8 5-star reviews. We're getting ratings through the asshole.
We're better than like a restaurant. I was trying to come up with a single restaurant. I couldn't.
Burger King.
I was trying to come up with a fancy restaurant. We're better than like Emerald.
Olive Garden.
We're better than the Olive Garden. The Olive Garden in my town does not have 8 5-star reviews. I can tell you that.
I don't think mine does either. Josh, we are shitting gold stars right now.
Well, I mean, like I'm laying them nicely along the path. I'm not shitting them. Like
I'm ejaculating gold stars all over the internet right now.
Great. Just smear them all over their face.
Yeah. One face to get smeared all over is Chasing 15s, who said the show is like hanging out with 2 of your friends.
It is. Because you know what, Toby? Spoiler alert, we're friends.
God damn it, stop telling people that.
Well, secretly we hate each other. That's really the chemistry of the show, is that you and I hate each other. So the show starts like we're arguing, like, oh, I hate you so much, I'm going to murder you. And then you're like, hey, what's up, everybody? And then we go into the normal show. Yeah.
Josh Dillon said, Geek Pop host Josh and Toby have mentioned how episodes of TV shows are comfort food to depression. He feels the same way about this podcast. On the surface, it's as simple as 2 friends making jokes, but after the comedy seep into your soul, you immediately can't help yourself from laughing along and subscribing.
I'm glad that the word seeping got into that. I mean, it was very nice. It was a very nice review, but I really appreciate the use of the word seeping. I'm
appreciating the use of the word seeping because I talked about coming and ejaculating stars.
Exactly.
So I feel like this is really all,
Toby,
blending together nicely.
This is why we're a good team, because you're picking up what I'm putting down.
And that's ejaculated gold stars from people like me, myself, and I, who said Toby and Josh are 2 regular guys who are just funny. They make real-life problems funny by talking about their lives and making fun of themselves and each other. If you haven't listened yet, he'd like to say, why not? They're hilarious.
Yeah, why not? Why
not? We're fucking hilarious.
Well, I mean, you took a really hard stance there. I'm the good cop. Just, hey, why don't you listen? Why haven't you listened to our show?
I'm not a control cop. I'm the fucking wild card.
Listen, I know that Toby can be a little over the top sometimes, so just listen to the show. Like, it's that easy.
Listen to the goddamn show. What else are you going to do with your time?
All right, partner. All right, back it off. Back it off. Now, listen. This could all go away. You have your phone right there. Download the show.
You go to goddamn iTunes and download the fucking show right now, Josh.
All right, he's doing it. He's doing it, man. He's doing it. We won.
You who else won?
Who?
America.
And also every other country that people listen to us in. Not just America. Let's be clear.
So yeah, you can find us on both Stitcher and iTunes, Geek Pop, !podcast. You can go to our website, geek-pop.com. You can write to us at cast@geek-pop.com, and we will make fun of you on the show or talk to you on the show. And Josh, where else can you find you during the week?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at GI_Josh.
And you can find me at Girls Heart Geeks. You can see all the other shit that Josh and I do during the week on there. And once again, I'm Toby.
And I'm Josh.
Peace. 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 Peace.